The following program may contain strong language and mature content. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey, happy Thursday, everyone. Welcome to Nicole Vick Live. I am Nicole Vick, yay! And it is my favorite time of the year. It is Black History Month, y'all. All day, every day. Well, I guess all day, every day until February 28th. Then it's not. But I am Black all day, every day until the day I die. And then I'll still be Black in heaven. Okay. This month we have, or this week, because I'm on every week now. I'm on every week. My producer convinced me, I don't know, one minute it was, once a month and whoop-de-whoop. And then next thing I know, I'm on here every Thursday. I don't know how I'm doing it, but he spoke it and manifested it, and here we are. So this week, I am here with a fabulous guest. Before I get into who that guest is, I will say we are missing Dr. Nosa Kalfani. She's busy today over in Beverly Hills talking about Black history, baby. She done went to the West Side to teach the good news about Black history and Black women in Beverly Hills. Can you believe that? I'm so excited for her and happy. But let's do a little bit of a recap. I want to talk to you guys. Last week, I gave you 3 easy tips on how to celebrate Black History Month. Just in case you're not sure, you don't know what you're supposed to be doing, and you need some help. I'm going to repeat what I said last week, just in case you missed it this time around, or you missed it the last time. First and foremost, I want you to shop local, and I want you to shop Black. Okay. Look for your local pop-up shops. Look for your local Black-owned businesses. Buy Black food from Black people that cook the food. Do all the Black things. Spend your money in Black communities. Recycle those Black dollars. Our dollars don't stay in our communities as often as other communities. So the more we spend our money in our neighborhoods, the better it is for us. That's the first thing you need to be doing up in here. Secondly, you need to support Black journalism. I'm in Los Angeles. There are 2 women that I respect very much that I get a lot of my news from, Jasmine Canick and Slauson Girl. And when I say support them, yes, read their articles, catch up on their lives, watch and listen to their podcasts, but more importantly, you can Cash App them, Venmo them, pay for subscriptions, spend dollars. Their effort is there's money and things happen to keep that stuff going. And the last one, I want you to read some books by Black authors. I got 2 books. You can read one of mine, but maybe them ain't your jam, and that's okay. There are 3 that I recommend, and I'm going to read you the titles real quick. Those are mine right there. See that? Hey! But there are 3 books that have come out that I want you to read. One is called Squares in My Circle, A Pretty Savage Lust Story. So if you like that kind of thing, my friend Keish Monique put that out. It's on Amazon. Pick it up. I have a copy. I'm about to start reading it on the train going to work and see if I get myself in trouble. Like, wait a minute now. It's about lust. The second one is called I'm Not Yelling, a Black woman's guide to navigating the workplace by Elizabeth Leba. And I'm hoping I'm saying her last name correctly. Her book title actually jives with what we're going to be talking about today. Some of the stuff that happens to us as Black women in the workplace. So pick up that book as well. And the last one is actually on pre-sale, and it's written by my former supervisor. It's called Black Candle Women. And I was reading the synopsis. It sounds amazing. So support Black authors. If you can't find these books, plenty of Black folks have written plenty of Black books in all genres. Pick those books up, read them, support them. I see people saying, hi, hello. Now, let's see what else is happening. Okay, y'all, listen. I saw on TikTok, I love TikTok, by the way. You should follow me on TikTok. Smokey Robinson is releasing an album. Now, let me just say this. Smokey Robinson is 82 years old, and his album is called Gasms. And I was just beside myself on TikTok talking about Smokey with his album. Y'all go listen to it. Tell me what it sounds like. I don't know. He got song titles like I Feel You Up or something like that. And I was like, Smokey, I can't. You're a legend. That tickled me, and I just felt like I needed to share that on this here Black History Month. Go buy Smokey Robinson's new album called Gasms. And y'all tell me what that's all about. But we had a good time on TikTok talking about that. So I had to share it. But anyway, let's pivot. Let's get to the nitty gritty of today's episode. No doubt you've heard this acronym DEI. There's lots of folks doing this DEI work. You know, what does it mean? What does it have to do with Black women? Does it have anything to do with Black women? And also, I'm been having some epiphanies about my place in the workforce as a Black woman. And I need to talk to somebody about this. And the best person I knew that could help me work through this and process this was my girl, Vonda Page. Bringing her on, and we about to just jump into this conversation tonight because I done learned some things. So can we please bring Sister Vonda on, please? Hey!
What's up? Hello.
Yeah, I thought it was just me. I'll be in the back dancing to the music. I'm like, let me sit down and focus.
Look, music is my life. Music is like part of, what keeps us going, especially, walking around in black skin, child. So you know what? Every time you get to have some joy, make sure you get to getting it. You was talking about how you love TikTok. I love TikTok too. I'm like, I wish I would have found it when they first started it, because I can just imagine how great I would be on it. But you do so many inspiring things on TikTok, and I don't even know if you know it, whether it's not you sharing like your experience, as a teacher, your experience in school as a student, your experience as a mom to a, grown daughter, your experience, like dating and relationships. You give like a lot to the TikTok community. So if people aren't following you, they need to. And I be loving how we get to like interact on TikTok, because it's hard, I think, to interact like, on text and email and all of that. But like when you get a few minutes to like get on your app, whatever your favorite app is, whether you're a TikTok person or Instagram, whatever, and then you get to connect with people that you know in real life, and you get to like be a part. Like when you did that TikTok one time about have you ever fought a person or hit a person, gave me a trigger. I said, girl, I remember fighting my ex-husband the night before we got married. So like TikTok is amazing, right? For like having those kind of conversations. I love it.
Yes. And I just saw our friend Tammy is on watching us. I love watching you and Tammy, because Tammy, first of all, she be fashionable, be looking all kinds of fancy and good with her outfits on and stuff. But at the same time, she would be like, boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, oh, she just said like a whole word in like 2 minutes.
Hello.
And I'm like this, watching her like, wow. But I'm so glad to have you here. And maybe we're going to have to bring Tammy on one of these days and have a talk with her. So
Love.
let me introduce you formally because we just talking. I ain't said nothing about who you are or anything. So Vonda Page is a results mentor and tech optimization advisor who curates learning spaces for unpacking anti-Blackness, unlearning white violence, and unleashing empathy. You know the change we seek begins internally, and I agree with that. It requires real work, not yet begun for most of us. Some of us haven't even realized where we need to start to undo. And I know you do a academy with Tammy, and we can talk a little bit about that. But I also want to talk about how we met. You have a podcast, and I think we did a couple of episodes together. We were talking about public health, all the good things, and so it never occurred to me, bring Vonda on my stuff too. So here we are, and I'm so glad you decided to join me.
Me too. Look, I'm just excited. First of all, I consider myself like a champion for Black women. I'm going to always roll with Black women, so literally reach out and I'm here. And yeah, we met on Living Corporate Network when I was doing podcasts on there. And then like the conversations from public health just led to other stuff. And we hit it off, and so, I love talking to you, not only because of you have like that amazing perspective. I love, first of all, being from the East Coast, right? I like to meet people from other parts of the country. And I have a whole special affinity for like LA, Compton, the whole West Coast. Like I have a whole thing when it comes to Black people in the West Coast, like Black Panthers, are you kidding me? Like the whole thing, right? So that's one thing. But then how we be hitting it off on like, the fashion and the growth piece. And recently we've been talking about, what it's like to be moms of adult daughters and like that relationship. And even that's some of the stuff me and Tammy be talking about, when it comes to, what that looks like now.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's funny you say that. I have a good friend. Her father was a Black Panther. So you say Black Panther, I'm like, it's funny, those connections. And she shared that with me. Actually, she's a work colleague. And she was like, yeah, my dad is Gene McKinney, and he was a Black Panther. And he was killed. So she was telling me all his history, but pivoting to some of the stuff that I kind of want to dig into. So last week, I think I was on a rampage about Black women at work. I had seen a couple of TikToks. One of them, this Black woman was saying, hey, I was in this meeting and all I wanted to do was just make it clear that the idea that was moving forward was my idea. I just was trying to make that clear. It made me uncomfortable. They told me I was making them uncomfortable and all these things. And she ended up quitting her job. And so I had stitched her TikTok like, girl, shout out to you, because everybody can't quit. We all can't walk away, and for you to exercise your power in that way is a lot. I said, I give it up to y'all youngsters, like my daughter's generation and after. Y'all ain't putting up with the madness. Some of us, we still trying to, wait till we get to retirement and then we can say what we want to say. But for anybody that can do that, I was like, girl, I know that was hard, but you did what you had to do. So that was one. And then I had seen the other one where this Black woman working at Dunkin' Donuts, and the guy in the drive-thru was irritated with her because she wouldn't do something that he wanted. And he came up to the window and said, oh, so do you want to lose your job? Do you want to lose your job? And that Black woman, and you know how we are Black girl magic. That Black woman said, if you think you can determine whether I keep my job or not, I said, ma'am. But think about that stress. Like, what is that? Disrespect. Where does that come from? I want you to tell me, like, where does that come from, Vonda? Because I don't know, and I'm tired. Where does it come from?
Yeah. Look, girl, first of all, it's deep. It's deep, first of all. It is centuries old, secondly, and it is long-standing, deeply embedded programming that's resulted in the conditioning and how people treat and think about Black women. So first, right, if we think about the fact that from the time we were stolen, right, our ancestors were literally kidnapped and stolen, right, and then used, right, one woman to 27 men, okay, to breed right? Workers, through abuse and trauma, right? We didn't even start getting paid until the 1960s, right? Before that, it was tips and making money and bartering, right? We weren't getting used to being paid. So whether or not, right, we were the founders and the inventors of everything: medicine, science, mathematics, modern education, farming, it doesn't matter, right? All of that. It's the way that people have been programmed and conditioned. Number one, to believe that Black women's labor is not worth being paid, because you have to remember it's hundreds of years of us not being paid, right? We only been getting paid less than 100 years in this country. We've only been getting paid less than 100 years. And there's only been laws even saying, right, that and protecting us since the 60s. So let's start right there. So epigenetically, right, palm color people are conditioned that we work for them. We service them. You know how you be in a store and you be minding your business looking cute, like you looking, and somebody gonna ask you where something is. You like, do I look like I work here? It's epigenetic. You're supposed to serve them. It don't matter what you got on. I was telling Tammy, even when I have a first class 1A ticket, do you know people will shove me when I go to get in line to board an airplane? They will literally shove me like, you're not supposed to be a first. And I just stand there with my ticket.
Right.
And I roll my damn eyes. And I try to, take up space but that's what it is. Okay. So we have to, and it's hard because it doesn't even make sense, right? Because It seems like that was long ago, but that mentality hasn't changed. We haven't bred that out of us, right? As a society, right? So epigenetically, ancestrally, behaviorally, it's in our laws, our practices. Black women only have 58 cents on a dollar. Who think they need to listen to us in a meeting? I could be in a meeting with a PhD and Jeremy in there with a high school GED. Jeremy is my boss, making $100,000 more than me. That's crazy. All over corporate America. That's everywhere. It's in corporate America. It's in academia. It's in nonprofit. You go with any big company, all the people working in customer service got master's degrees and bachelor's degrees are Black women, and they making $16, $17 an hour, and all they bosses making 50 and 60 bucks an hour, right? And don't even have GEDs. That's where we are. That's where we are.
Okay. Because you done said, I mean, we
sorry to break it to y'all.
We can turn off the, I mean, we done. Good night. But listen, so let's dig a little deeper than that. Well, I mean, that was the deepness of it. But I also want to talk about, so let's touch on this. What is the impact that has on us as Black women? And let's talk about it physically, emotionally, and economically. And for me, from the public health perspective, I can say this. I'll say this, and then I'm turning to you. Low birth weight babies, African-American infant and maternal mortality rates. Our rates are higher than everybody else's. Stroking out, diabetes, cancer, right? So there's that physical manifestation of that, right? Of that oppression, literally being pushed down, but being pushed down and being expected to be the workhorse, right? That starts to wear on your body. They say Black don't crack, and that may be true on the outside. And I always say this, that might be true on the outside, but baby, the inside, we are falling apart because we are bearing the burden of all that stress. But let's talk about the rest of the impacts, the economic, the emotional, all those other things.
So I'm going to quote my good sis that's right here on the line, okay? First and foremost, what we have got to accept, we've got to acknowledge, we have to have the conversation so that we can move. But the thing is, right, pain denied is just pain delayed. So what we have to start saying as Black people and as Black women, that we are in pain, that when we see trauma get passed around the internet like you passing some damn salt, that is traumatic. When you go to work and your ideas get stolen in front of your face and then they try to play you with gaslighting, that is traumatic. When your kid, is going to school in a PWI environment, and then you find out years later they don't like how they look, and you're like, well, what happened? Oh, like these are things that weigh on us, right? And we have been conditioned and socialized to not complain about our pain. Oh, yeah. Black women got high threshold of pain. No, the hell we don't. We just know that when we cry, nobody friggin' listens. We just know that when we scream, nobody come a running. We just know that it's 170,001 of us that look like my daughter and your daughter that look like me and you 10 years ago, 20 years ago, missing up in here, and ain't nobody looking for us, okay? Jamila, I forget her last name. She has that song, Black Girl Soldier, Jamila Woods, that yes. I love, Black Girl Soldier. Isn't she from Los Angeles, ain't she?
I think so, yeah.
Right, and she says, we go missing by the hundreds. Nobody, so the thing is, we have been socialized to not only deny our own pain, but then we've been so socialized that we can't complain about it without people gaslighting us and telling us it's our fault. Tammy and I did a master class last night, and Tammy was talking about how, the term microaggression is like an allowable term because it makes people not feel bad. But there's no such thing as a microaggression, because the stuff that happens to us in the workplace, at school, in the mall, in the building, in the parking lot, everywhere is aggression, and it's harmful. So the impact, right, is something that is eating us up. And if we are not on an intentional path of healing, if we are not intentionally, focused on, okay, I know all this stuff is impacting me, so what am I doing to care for myself? One thing I love is watching you do your nails, girl, because I know that feels so good and therapeutic, because it's like you get to focus on you, and it's more than care. It's like a love and a pampering, because you be, first of all, doing the damn things. Y'all need to be watching the TikTok nails on my sis right here. But it's like you're showing yourself love. And the way that Black women have been in conditioned and socialized in this country, when we enjoy something, when we look good, when we do just a little Black joy, that's an act of freaking rebellion, right? Yes. So we got to do that as often as possible, because the impact of this nonsense, this BS that we're dealing with, which is centuries old, patriarchal anti-Blackness, is very, very harmful. So that's number one. Economically, Black women have 58 cents on the dollar. We have 42% less than the regular dollar. So when you go to the store, your dollar is only 58 cents. My dollar is 58 cents. And it don't matter how many degrees and pieces of paper you got, because the law doesn't say that she who has the highest degrees makes the most money. Because if that was the case, look, Black women be owning TV stations and it would be a whole different game out here. But the way the world works, right, it doesn't work like that. So not only are we underpaid by 42%, right, when it comes to white men, right, we're underpaid by 37% when it comes to Asian women, right, and then another 22, 24 cent, 23 cent when it comes to white women, Asian Pacific Islanders, Filipino women, that kind of thing. And the thing is, none of this is insurmountable. When you go to fill out a job application, they ask you your name, your birthday, your social security number. They know who the hell you are. They know you Black, and they can decide how much money they're going to pay you. So it's all bullshit, okay?
It's
so
crazy.
That's what it is.
That's it. Vonda, and going back to TikTok real quick, I think I saved it. There was a Black woman on TikTok, and she literally pulled up the charts and graphs from, I guess, the Labor Department or something like that, with all the demographics and showing the average salary and wages by race. And she was starting to segment it out by education, because like you said, we have been taught, work hard, go to school, get all these degrees, you will be successful, it will work out for you. But when she showed them charts, I said, wait a daggone minute. Y'all playing us. Y'all playing
in our face. In our face, honey. In our face. Listen, in our face. In our face. In our face. And been doing it, but telling us the lie, getting us hooked on student loans, getting us hooked on thinking, if you just do this, if you just do this. Listen here, I've had my master's degree for almost 30 damn years. Okay. And I told one of my mentees the other day, listen, if things went how they were supposed to based on your qualifications, your criteria, education, and blah, 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 and if every company I ever worked with really abided by their so-called merit system, I would be CIO of a very big company right now. And I don't even have to name which one, but I bet you can, because I've been doing this thing for almost 40 years. Literally, next year is going to be 40 years since I've been doing technology optimization and advice. Since 1984.
Crazy.
Had my master's degree since 1996 or 7.
Just crazy. And here I am in school right now. I'm like, wait a minute, let me go get my refund. But no, I want my degree though. But that's for other reasons. But I mean, I hear you though, because it's like, God dog it. They did a number on us, Vonda.
They have.
Told us,
we've been bamboozled. Like the good Malcolm said, we bamboozled. Okay. Led astray. I'm just saying.
The whole way. I'm gonna ask you this question. I want you to answer it in one word, and then we're gonna go to a commercial, and then we're gonna come back and revisit it. All right. So here's the question of the evening, and then we go into break. Our workplaces, because we're talking about Black women at work, our workplaces doing the work to protect the interests of Black women at work. One answer, yes or no?
No. Hell no. Sorry.
And with that, we're going to a commercial. We're going to come back and we're going to talk about why. Woo! We are back. All right. Now, before the break, I said our workplaces, organizations doing the work to protect Black women in the workforce. And you said, hell no. Now, I'm confused. I'm confusion. I don't understand, because ain't that what the DEI people supposed to be doing? Making sure, everything is working well. Can we talk about that? Like, well, what's going on with this DEI stuff and what's going on? I don't understand.
Okay, so I'm gonna tell you like this. So I think some people, when they hear the term DEI, they think it's diversity, equity, and inclusion, right? Yeah. Some organizations, they add a J on it, justice. Some of them, they have a B, belonging. They have it all. They mix it around. They add accessibility. They call it DIA, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to tell you what DEI is. Dangerous, exploitative, and immoral from the jump. Dangerous, exploitative, and immoral. And in fact, my book that's going to come out on June 16th is called Dump DEI, because we need to dump diversity, equity, inclusion, because it is dangerous, exploitative, and immoral. Number one, it is dangerous because what it does, first of all, is it sets up a format to basically begin Black erasure and begin erasing the concerns of Black women, specifically in the workplace. So if we think back to civil rights, okay, the purpose of civil rights, right, coming out of Jim Crow, right, was to create access, right, for Black people, right, and make it fair and equal. So we got Equal Opportunity Commission and all these other things. Well, who got put in charge of all those things? People that look like this, okay? Palm color folks got put in charge of that. Them the same people that came over and stole African people and brought us here in bellies of ships. So how was those people going to be the people that was going to, number one, make us get equal or fair pay? Those are the same people that kept us out of, living in certain neighborhoods. Those people that kept our kids from getting books in school. They keep us from having hospitals. Those are the people that burnt down Wall Street. They burnt down, the Van Port here in Oregon. They burnt down in LA. They burnt down St. Louis. They burnt down every major city, Central and Park. They burnt down every city, right, in America where there was a Black community, and the people and their graves is either underground, right, or under rivers and parks all around this country. Not to mention the indigenous folks of these lands. So when it comes to diversity, equity, and inclusion, from the very beginning of equal opportunity of all of that, right? The fox has been in charge of the hen house the whole damn time. The colonizers, the same people that stole us. How we think that them same people gonna make sure we get paid enough so that we don't have to be in the bondage of going to work. If a man don't work, he don't eat. Right? So whether you want to go to work or not, whether you get a PhD, a master's, or 6 different degrees, people still decide what they're going to pay you based on what your phenotype is. And when you fill out the box, if you can't make it through checking white, can I tell you how many jobs and I-9s I filled out and checked white for myself just to see if it was going to make a damn difference? I have. To see if it make a difference.
Right. I'm like, I mean, at this point, right?
But what we know, right? What we know is the facts that we have. 2 years ago, Black women's pay was at 61 cents on the dollar. And then last year, boom, we dropped 3 pennies. Before that, we were 63 cents for a long time. But we've never been at the 80 or the 79 or the 60s. We've never been, right, equal. Why? Because the people, right, who have the ability to make sure we make that money are them same people that brought our people here in chains. It's that they great grandkids. And them same people have been programmed and conditioned as much as possible to make sure that things don't really change. So things change digitally, things change modern, things are modernized, things have changed industrial, but things haven't changed. We just living on digital plantations, right? With different types of currency and things. But when it comes to diversity, equity, inclusion, the thing that people don't like to talk about is it's not, why don't we make the same amount as white women? Why don't we make the same amount as Asian women? We've been in this country the longest. We have worked the hardest.
The whole time.
One Black woman to 27 men. This one woman had to have babies. Come on.
Right. That's crazy. So I've heard you and I've heard Tammy T talk about DEI being performative. So that's kind of what you're talking about. It's like
it's all performative, all of it.
These organizations are like, we're going to do this thing, and just so they feel good, and then they don't make it so that it can work. And then it's like they blame the DEI person, that person gets fired, and then it's like, see, I told you it didn't work.
Absolutely. And let me just say this first and foremost, if the DEI person doesn't report to the CEO, who reports to the board of directors, the job is a bullshit job. First and foremost, if the director of DEI, the head of it, don't report to the CEO that reports to the board, or they don't report to the board themselves, it's a bullshit job, number one. Number two, let me just say this. 81% of the DEI jobs, guess who runs them?
I'm scared.
Okay. Guess what percent of DEI lead jobs are held by Black women or by Black people? 3.5%. Okay.
Wild.
So if out of every 100 jobs, so let's do this. 500 companies in the Fortune 500. If only 3 Black people have a job out of 100 in the Fortune 500, that means there's only 15 Black people running DEI. How is 15 people going to change anything for 40% of the American workforce? And when those Black people do get those jobs, you think they're really up in them jobs to really do the change? Do you think they're really up in them jobs with the autonomy and the authority and the ability to do the work? They not, because it's not meant to work like that. The master's tools ain't gonna never free us.
No.
The master is never going to free us. If we want freedom, we got to take it. So for that sister that quit her job, look, and she preserving herself, right? But all the brokenness that she had up until that time.
That's crazy. And let me just say this, because we gonna kind of head into the end of this, but this, I want to say this last thing, and then let's talk about that, and then we'll talk about what you can do, because a lot of us can't leave the machine. We still got. So let me tell you. Let me share my epiphanies, because like I said, my brain been woo, and I'm working on this dissertation. I'm doing this research, and I'm like, hold on. So here's the thing. I used to have this thought process, and I'm sure you have had it too. I, as a Black woman, Black person, Black woman, have to be in these spaces at work, because if I'm not there, then stuff is going to go wrong, meaning my community is going to be ignored. I have to be there because I need to make sure y'all don't play us out. That's how that was my thought process. That's why I entered the work that I entered. Okay. There was a professor I had undergrad. If you are not at the table, you are on the menu. And I firmly felt that I got to be at the table, because if I'm not, we are going to get crucified. We are going to get forgotten. I have to be there. But again, this research I'm doing for this dissertation, them TikToks I watched, I said, hold on a minute. Okay, I can be at the table, still be on the menu, and still getting stood on top of, people standing on your back. So you not only are you at the table, oh, I'm here, I have something to say, you're still on the menu, and you're getting stood on top of, and you're still the workhorse. And then I said to myself, hold on. This ship, and I think Tammy was like, yes, Nicole, yes, finally, you get it. I said, this ship is going to steer and sail the way it was intended to sail, whether I'm on it or not. Whether I'm trying to help change, no. It don't matter. It's still going to do what it does. The machine is going to operate the way it operates. So it really doesn't matter if I'm there or not. And that was hard for me to realize, like, wait a minute. Ish ain't going to be right, period. Because it's not meant to be right for people that look like me. Ooh. Okay, so I want you to, what you think about that, the epiphany? Do I get a trophy because I figured it out?
So here's the thing. First of all, right, we gonna keep. Let me just tell you, we gonna keep on learning the same lessons. Gonna keep on coming around to us until we learn it, right? So that's one thing, right? So when you talk about going in and out of these corporate spaces, going in and out of these institutions, all these PWIs, right? That are structured to capture us, right? Emotionally, psychologically, and physically, to keep us in that bondage, so that we're never able to think outside of getting a job or doing that, like, because it's not meant to be like that, right? And in order for the whole system, right, to maintain the structure, it has to stay like that. And so to be able to say, you know what, I'm starting to figure out that just because I'm at the table don't mean I'm not also on the menu. The thing is understanding that that there's a dynamic of power in play that Black people, unfortunately, haven't gotten our arms around, working collectively enough to overtake that power. Because literally, we could have did it a long time ago. Like, we could have did it a long time ago, right? The weak link is the Black man, and I'm gonna just say it, right? And they could come fight me in my TikTok or my emails or whatever, but they the weak link and been the weak link, right? And so where we are now is that Black women, have stepped up. You stepping up, me and Tammy stepping up. It's women, Elizabeth Lieber, who you talk about. It's people all over these streets, right? TikTok, LinkedIn, social media, out in the real world, East Coast, the whole West Coast, doing the real work. The thing is, right, if these institutions and things, right, are compiled of people. People are compiled of experiences, right? And those experiences, although different between Black and white people and Black and non-Black people, those of us who live in the Western part of the world, and specifically those of us who are impacted by colonization living in America, our experiences are so unique and tied to slavery, but it's painful for people to talk about. So they don't like to talk about it. Black people don't want to talk about the fact that there's part of a lot of Black people that bought into, yeah, we were supposed to be slaves, that was bought into, oh, Africa had a bunch of savages and thank God they brought us over here and fixed us up and now we can pull ourselves up. And if you didn't go to a HBCU or if you didn't do the, like all of this nonsense is because we haven't done our own work. And it's not until we start to do our own work that we can figure out how to navigate in these spaces and keep a decolonized mind, right? As Tammy even says, right? Like you can be physically like, okay, we're tied into capitalism, but you can make decisions about how you choose to engage in capitalism.
Right.
You can choose not to buy from big box stores. Like you talk about buying, you know, you gave your tips for Black History Month about buying local, but you did that at Christmas. You did that at Thanksgiving. You did that last summer. You always be talking about buying local. You always be in your community, going to the local restaurant, doing it. So that's natural and part of who you are because that's something that is important to you, right? And you also a small business, and you also a teacher and a learner and a student. So for a lot of people, right, they aren't on that growth and trajectory type tip, right? Where they like are saying, hey, how do I want to change and grow and develop in my life? They every day like doing their thing. And so it's hard when you're looking at trauma and centuries of, you know, ancestral trauma, when you're looking at centuries of, you know, epigenetics, you're looking at conditioning, you're looking at all the media that goes on that's telling Black people you ain't nothing unless you shaking your ass, unless you making sports or doing music, you ain't crap out here, and if you ain't light skinned, then this and that. Like we have all of that to contend with, and one of the things that we have got to do, and this is where, you know, empathy comes into play, and really understanding what empathy is and being able to unleash that for yourself, is understanding that there's a game happening, okay, that we ain't at the table. We ain't gonna never be at the table. We can try to kick that table and bust that motherfucker up, but we ain't at the table because it's only like literally 900 people at the table in the world. It's literally 900 of them at the real table.
Right.
And we ain't at
right.
And even the 435 people that's in our government, they ain't even at that table that we talk about. Okay, they the pawns that are next to the table. That's part of the game.
Right.
This is what the conversations that people be scared of, girl. This is why I ain't on LinkedIn, because as soon as I open my mouth, they're like, "Oh, shut up," right? So we're building an amazing community, right? Unleashing empathy. People can go to unleashempathy.com to learn more about the master's classes and all of that.
Yes.
But the work is doing it for yourself. So obviously you doing it. And you living it, and you showing people like, yo, here's how you do it. Here's how you engage in your community. Here's how you bring conversation right to the forefront that needs to be had. Look, you doing the Black girl thing. You doing it.
I'm trying. And like you said, I think TikTok has been so instrumental, you know, and not to say TikTok is not problematic in its own right, but I think if you are good and can curate your feed in a way that you see what you're supposed to see, you get to the right people. But yeah, so thank you, Vonda, for being here tonight. Any final words? We're gonna close out because we've been talking, and the producer said, "Hold on now." Any final words, and I'm gonna wrap us on up.
Look, I just want to say, you know, like, keep up the good work, and I want to just like give a message to Black women, and I want to say, listen, they've been trying to break us from the beginning, and every act of joy that you can carve out for yourself, whether it's getting your nails done, whether it's getting a chance to beat your face or buy some cute ass wrap or go and eat a damn ice cream cone, I don't give a crap what it is. Love on yourself, because listen, we all we got, right? And really use that time to like just love and care about yourself like nobody's watching, and like, you know, be your own best friend. And that's literally what I want to say, because it's hard out here, right? You know, being Black is dangerous. It's dope as hell, but it's a little dangerous. So look, we got to love on each other and love ourselves, honey.
Absolutely, Vonda. And you know what else too? The reason why I am so in agreement with that is because no one is coming to save us.
They ain't coming, girl.
That's it. That's all. Ain't no you hello, help. Ain't nobody. Girl, they'll sit there and watch you die and just look at you, and step right over you. So we got to let that get that out of our mind right now. And ultimately, it is going to be us together. We are going to be the ones that are going to save each other. So Thank you, Vonda. I might bring you back, sis. I'm just saying.
And look, anytime.
All right,
look,
you
I can
guys.
talk all day about this stuff because this stuff matters. And so
It
keep it up.
does. It does. So thank you so much for being here. All right, everybody, we're going to close out. Thank you so much for stopping by this week on Nicole D. Vick Live. You know where to find me on my website, www.nicoledvick.com. You can follow me on social media. I am on Instagram. I'm on Facebook, but TikTok is the spot. Woo! All the things happen on TikTok. And I mentioned earlier, I have 2 fabulous books, Push Through, Finding the Light in Every Lesson, or Pushing Through, Finding the Light in Every Lesson. I forgot my title of my book. And my journal is Push Through, 52 Weeks of Light in Tough Times. All right, y'all. If you missed this week's episode, I'll be back next week to do the recap. You can hear me talk about what we talked about and some other stuff that's going on. But yes, thank you all for watching. And thank you again, Vonda, for being here. Bye.
Bye.